I love India. I love Sanskrit. Dhanyavad. Dharma Mitra, I wanted to translate Kabir Das. The knowledge of the Sanskritists around the world should be united. So every woman in Russia can learn Sanskrit. AI is just a parrot. Garbage in, garbage out. Sanskrit Russian parallel corpora. If you can live without learning Sanskrit, don't learn Sanskrit.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, पालम न्यूज़ पे आपका स्वागत है। तो मेरे साथ हैं रशिया से मार्सिस गसोन, जो भारत की प्राचीन भाषा संस्कृत को जो है वो पूरी दुनिया में पहचान दिला रहे हैं। रशिया से हैं, फिर भी संस्कृत में इनका जो रुचि है वो बहुत ज़्यादा है। ये रुचि क्यों है, उन्हीं से जानेंगे और कितना उन्होंने स्ट्रगल किया, कैसे जो है वो लोगों तक इस भाषा को या पूरी दुनिया में पहुंचा रहे हैं संस्कृत की भाषा को। और हम सब जानते हैं कि संस्कृत जो है वो भारत की प्राचीन भाषाओं में से एक है। ऋषि मुनियों की भाषा संस्कृत रही है, आयुर्वेद की भाषा संस्कृत रही है, और संस्कृत जो है वो एक ज्ञान का भंडार भी मैं कह सकता हूं। तो उन्हीं से जान लेते हैं कि क्या कहते हैं इस सफ़र को लेकर और कैसे वो दुनिया में संस्कृत भाषा का जो है वो प्रचार कर रहे हैं। आपकी संस्कृत के साथ कैसे जो है वो यात्रा शुरू हुई, पहला कनेक्शन आपका संस्कृत के साथ कैसे था?
2002, I traveled to Moscow, which is the Mecca of Sanskrit, and I became a student of literature at the Maxim Gorky Literature Institute. And when I was a student of third year, I realized that everyone needs a specification. And for that purpose, I started learning Sanskrit because I wanted to be closer to Braj Bhasha. I wanted to translate Kabir Das. And for that purpose, I started learning Arabic, Persian, and Sanskrit. I thought that I can manage to deal with Sanskrit in 2 years' time, but 23 years have passed, and I am still not very deep into Sanskrit. So I wanted to translate, but it has come out that I'm interested in Sanskrit for the sake of Sanskrit.
लात्विया जैसे यूरोपियन देश से होने के बावजूद भी आपका संस्कृत के प्रति कैसे आकर्षण रहा, कैसे आपकी इसमें रुचि बढ़ी?
The land I was born in is smaller than some of the Delhi suburbs. It is a small country. But if you will listen to my name, which is Marcis Gasuns, you may understand that the endings in my name and my surname are same as in Sanskrit. The S, the ending S, is the same as in Sanskrit. So out from the European languages, Lithuanian and Latvian are the two most ancient languages. They sound as similar as a European language can sound to Sanskrit. Russian comes only next. Russian language has progressed more. English is progressed very quickly, and English is as far from Sanskrit as Hindi is. But Latvian and Lithuanian, they are small countries by the seaside, and they are like frozen. So for me, I hear hundreds of similar words. So I came from this city, which is Riga, the capital of Latvia, to Moscow, which is the capital of Sanskrit, to understand medieval India. That was where the interest came from.
एक विदेशी विद्यार्थी होने के नाते आपको किन चुनौतियों का सामना जो है वो करना पड़ा है संस्कृत को सीखने के लिए?
I don't believe that there were actually any challenges at all, other than time, because you have to spend some days 2 hours, 4 hours, 6, 8, 10 hours per day for several years. So I don't see there actually are any issues at all. Only when I started teaching Sanskrit, which was in 2007, I understood some of the grammar I did not understand before. And after 15 years of learning Sanskrit myself, I understood the other ones, which were hard to grasp for me before. So I don't see no issue of being a foreigner. When people are born in India, they hear the shlokas from the radio. They hear the shlokas from the mother. We were not surrounded by listening to Sanskrit, and still it is a matter of will. If there is a will, there is a way.
जैसा कि आपने बताया तो आप वेद मंत्र संस्कृत के श्लोकों के बारे में क्या सोचते हैं?
People in Russia, they believe that everything that is said in Sanskrit is Vedic. That every single verse is Vedic. So there are a lot of misconceptions about what Sanskrit literature is. But the very first touch with Sanskrit is enough to start asking questions. People wonder, do these chants have a meaning? The terms they hear in Jyotish, they start to ask questions. Is this just some rubbish? Or do these words have a structure? So although initially people might come to Sanskrit without understanding where are they heading, but the amount of India that people can find in Russia is enormous. I mean, not every country in Russia gets such an attention. For example, Japan or Iran, you don't get that much love as you get for India. So I don't know if it was the movies or the yoga. Anyhow, in the last 20 years, the interest has multiplied several times.
आप 16 साल से संस्कृत पढ़ा रहे हैं, लोगों की रुचि में आपने क्या बदलाव देखा है?
If we speak about the interest in Sanskrit, it is not just one single interest. There are several communities who believe that Sanskrit can help them actually even earn money. The community which is loving Sanskrit but not always has the abilities to learn it are the yoga teachers. They indeed find it useful, but at a very low level, I would say. And for them, that's enough. If they would want to read Patanjali, that would require not just the knowledge of Sanskrit, but of the philosophy. And the issue is that mostly in Russian universities, they don't teach philosophy, Indian philosophy. They teach the history of philosophy, which is not the same. Then there are Jyotishis, women from India who are interested in astrology. It is hard for them. It is hard for them. Mostly they are 40 years and older, 50 maybe. To learn another foreign language is a task not easy at all for them. So it wouldn't matter if they would learn English or German or Sanskrit. It is not the hardness of Sanskrit, but it is the age and learning a foreign language, whatever it be. So there is no one community, but up to, let's propose 8 communities in Russia, and there are maybe around 10,000 yoga teachers in Russia alone, and the demand is rising. So is the demand for Sanskrit. It is impossible to explain, but so it is.
डिजिटल संस्कृत लेक्सिकोग्राफी में आपका योगदान महत्वपूर्ण है। आपने इसकी शुरुआत कहाँ से की और इसकी प्रेरणा आपको निरंतर कहाँ से मिलती है?
In 2004, there was a Oriental conference in Moscow. Around 1,000 people from all countries of the world came there. And I met a professor from Kolkata, professor from Kyoto, Japan, and one professor from Italy. And we had a lunch time speech. And the professor told, I am adding my remarks on the Monet-William dictionaries on the side of the book. I mean, he's adding something to the dictionary, but onto his own copy of the dictionary. And then the other one said, the professor, that, my teacher was doing the same. So I understood that in the last 120 years, many Indologists have been working on their individual copies of the dictionaries, but that knowledge always remained in those copies. So 20 years ago, I had that dream that the knowledge of the Sanskritists around the world should be united. And so we started the Sanskrit Lexicon project under the Cologne University in Germany. It's a purely volunteer project, and there is a professor from America. There are 2 volunteers from India, and there are us from Russia. So we are trying to make the old digital dictionaries digitally available, tracking back the source of each meaning of each word, interlinking them. So even if we would have, suppose today I was at the Nehru University, even if you would find, let's say, 20 more volunteers on a daily basis, let's say 20 minutes, 20 people for next 20 years, we could still do only a small fraction of what is to be required. In the field of Sanskrit scholarship, we are still mid-19th century. And it is impossible to speak about artificial intelligence when you are mid-19th century. I believe that working together, we can bring Sanskrit digital lexicography to the 21st century.
संस्कृत व्याकरण को लोग जटिल मानते हैं। आप अपने छात्रों को ये सरल बनाकर कैसे सिखाते हैं?
I agree that you cannot call Sanskrit grammar easy. And all those books that are called easy Sanskrit is a bit of a lie. What I do believe is that a dialogue is needed. One cannot learn Sanskrit on its own. You can learn English or Spanish. These are easy languages. You can just watch talk shows and manage to speak those languages. In the case of Sanskrit, self-education usually does not work. It is a matter of discipline, and not many people are disciplined enough. It does not matter if you find a good teacher or a bad teacher. If you're lucky, you find a good teacher. If not, a bad teacher, that doesn't matter. But the teacher himself will give you a clue of how good or bad you actually are. So it's not a question of method. It's a question that you should not try for too long to do it on your own. I've seen thousands of students, literally thousands of students, and out of them, only 2 had the feeling for the language. 2 were talented. Not many people are talented. You have not to have a talent for Sanskrit. You have to be dedicated for learning. And that's not that often seen nowadays. So whatever the method, be it Indian or European, in Russia we joke there is a St. Petersburg Sanskrit and Moscow Sanskrit. Different approaches. Like in Moscow, we tend to focus on linguistics. In St. Petersburg, they focus on philosophy. It depends on in what school you are, in what city. But as of we, the Sanskrit Zealot Society from Russia, we try to bring, and we have brought 14 tutors together from different cities, different approaches. There is no single right approach to teach or learn Sanskrit, and never will be.
आपकी 20 से अधिक पुस्तकें प्रकाशित हैं, इनमें से आपकी प्रिय पुस्तक कौन सी है?
The one that is published the latest, you feel the most pain in it, because the day you hold the book, you forget the pain. It is like, it's so much blood in every book that sometimes I feel maybe the era of printed books is out of date. Maybe we should go just digital. I am not sure if I am right. Who knows? I wanted to show that there is a standard of printing books that was high in the Soviet Union, and after Soviet Union fell down, I wanted Russia to lead the world's Indology and to show the way ancient languages should be taught through books, printed books. I had that dream, and I am still not sure if I was right or wrong. So the dictionaries, the printed dictionaries, might be the ones which I am most proud of, but the ones to come are the ones I'll be actually proud of, because I want to make new Sanskrit dictionaries. Not because the old are bad, but because we have gathered the honey from all around. And now we can, using digital corpora, use statistics and see what words actually require. So in every language, 1,000, 1,500 words, that's the core. And actually the size of the dictionary does not matter. If the core is right, then you can add any number of tens of thousands of words. The core should be right. And I believe we have reached knowledge to find these words, to make a stable basis. Digital lexicography gives us tools. We are not as smart as people in the ancient times. not at all. But those tools, they can make look smarter than you actually are.
यूरोप और रूस में संस्कृति की वर्तमान स्थिति क्या है? क्या वहाँ पर लोगों की रुचि जो है वो संस्कृत में बढ़ रही है?
Once was one of the major centers of Sanskrit studies in Europe. And nowadays, they have like 4 students, 5 students per class, which is a very small class, if you ask me. So just 20 years ago, they had like 30 different courses around Sanskrit, around 30 courses at once. Now only few are left. So what I see in the German universities, although the interest is rising, the availability of universities and professors is going down. At the same time, in Russia, the universities are going down as well. The Moscow State University, the St. Petersburg State University, they have like 3 to 4 students, which is not much. So I believe that Sanskrit teaching is going outside the walls of the universities. If we count universities, I would say Sanskrit is dead. If we go outside the universities, Sanskrit is thriving. So my aim is to bring the standards of the universities to the outside world. So every woman in Russia can learn Sanskrit without attending a university in any of the capitals.
आज आप जिस दृष्टि से संस्कृत को देख रहे हैं, दुनिया भी क्या उसी दृष्टि से देख रही है? उन दोनों में क्या फ़र्क है?
I'm not very happy with everything I see in India as regards of Sanskrit. I don't see the fire in the eyes of the students, only rarely. I don't know, maybe too many topics to be covered, too short the courses. Rarely I see the fire. When I went to Pune Deccan Sanskrit College, I spoke to a Sanskrit scholar who was working for the Pune Sanskrit Dictionary. And he was my age, which I believe is not very old. And I asked, what do you want to do with the dictionary? How many words you want to manage? And I was surprised by his reply. He told me that he is nearing the age when he'll leave the university, that he will have his pension. I was, I'm not even thinking about it. I want to finish this and that. And he was not thinking in the terms of finishing. He was just happy that he could work for 5, 10, 15 years. He doesn't want to finish nothing. He just likes the process of working. He's not thinking in a way, we could finish this dictionary in 100 years. No. So this approach, I am no fan of. In the field of Sanskrit, not much has been done. What has been done 3,000 years ago. The field is yet to be... You have to find a horse, and we will start plugging it. So much work to be done. I'm not sure the Indian colleagues will agree. They might say that everything's done. If you ask me, nothing has even started. So I believe time is good to start working together. Russia and Indians. And it might give a different perspective to India as well.
आपने संस्कृत सर्च इंजन को डेवलप किया और अब मौजूदा AI आ चुका है, तो आप कैसे देखते हैं उसको?
AI is just a parrot. Garbage in, garbage out. So the question with IE is not the IE itself, but the data we feed to it. For the last 12 years, we've been preparing Sanskrit-Russian parallel corpora. It contains 120,000 shlokas. No, that's not much and not enough, but that's all we have. That's all that has been translated in the last 200 years. To train a parrot, you need more than that. But even that is enough if you do it like some simple tasks. And so there is a tool, it is called Dharma Mitra, that uses the Sanskrit Russian data. And if you want to play with it, dharmamitra.org is a nice artificial intelligence solution. We are on the translation of the Ramayana. Will artificial intelligence help us? No. The question of the Russian translation of Ramayana, for example, is not a question of translation. It's a question of research. And research at such a level, for now, it is possible only for humans. So yes, maybe in 2000 years from now, humans will be so stupid that then a computer will be better than human. But as for now, yes, minor tasks can be done, even the process of the translation, but for the preparation of the Russian translation of the Ramayana, of the Mahabharata, no, generally it does not help. But I don't say that we don't need tools. So we developed a Sanskrit search engine, and in seconds it gives us every quote ever translated to Russian. And that doesn't require artificial intelligence. That requires computer knowledge. So computer knowledge plus Sanskrit knowledge is what we need. Because I see it in Russia and in India, those who know Sanskrit know next to nothing about computers. Those who know computers know next to nothing about Sanskrit. So I try to share my vision of how they should be united. That doesn't mean that the computers will take all the work. No, they will not. But they can speed up the translation, but not translate. No, they cannot.
जो युवा छात्र संस्कृत सीखना चाहते हैं उनको आप क्या संदेश देना चाहते हैं?
If you can live without learning Sanskrit, don't learn Sanskrit. You start learning Sanskrit only when you know that you actually need it. I will give you one example to make sure that you're ready. If you want to go to the washroom, there is no explanation why you didn't do that. If you want, you'll go, however far is the way. So you need to want to learn Sanskrit as you want to go to the washroom. Otherwise, there will always be something more important. Sanskrit is useless, but its beauty is above any language. And without beauty, without the gardens, we cannot live. Without the flowers, we cannot live. So is Sanskrit. Useless in everyday life, it is the soul, the beauty of India. So, can you live without smells? Yes. Would you want? No. Because you have Sanskrit, you just need to grasp. It's so close. And because of its closeness, it's so far. So, just imagine how much trouble foreigners have finding even the Sanskrit manual or a Sanskrit teacher, it requires years. So the easiness, the surrounding of Sanskrit makes Sanskrit far away from you. And maybe that's the way it should be. Don't worry about it until you want to learn Sanskrit as you want to go to washroom.
संस्कृत पर इतनी खुलकर बात करने के लिए, हमें बताने के लिए आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
I've been to different Indian cities, and I must say, I love India as before. But sometimes I say harsh words about India, but because I love, like parents, they say harsh words to children. I love India. I love Sanskrit. Dhanyavad.